Hi, small business community of Lafayette. This is Johan Reinders from the Small Business Assistance Program. Thank you all for being here. It's now 10:02. We have about 37 attendees so far. We're going to give it just a little bit more time to see if anyone will trickle in, and then we'll get started. So bear with us for just a few more minutes. Thank you all so much for being here. Hi, Lafayette. Just checking in again. The attendees are starting to trickle in. We're going to give it about one more minute, and then we'll get started. Thank you all for bearing with us. So we're going to begin the presentation in just about a minute. Okay, Lafayette small business community, thank you all so much for being here. It is 10:05, and we're going to begin the presentation now. I really want to thank all of you for being here and for keeping Lafayette strong. Well, we're going to begin the presentation. Feel free to use the questions function or the chat function in on this platform to start asking questions as we go through the presentation. We're going to have a Q&A section at the end, and we're going to answer as many of those as possible that are typed in through the question section. So there'll be a good chunk of time to either ask questions during the presentation or ask during the Q&A portion. So again, thank you all so much for being here. This webinar is being recorded, and it will be posted for your perusal later on, and also for those that are not able to make it here today. So without further ado, I'm going to pass on to Mayor Kendall. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everybody. This is Susan Candell, Mayor of City of Lafayette, and I am so thankful to be here to start 2021 on such a positive note. I am so thankful to Congress and our president for passing this latest stimulus, and especially since it's hopefully going to include a lot of money for our small businesses and nonprofits. So thank you to everybody. Thank you to our staff, and thank you to Townsend Public Affairs for bringing the system back up and this program back up so quickly. I hope we can reach out. So last time, for what I would say a minimal investment by our city, we came back and we were able to raise over $1.5 million into our businesses and nonprofits. That is a win-win. Let's try to make this one even bigger. Please reach out, ask questions, ask Townsend all the questions you need. Hopefully we can help you as much as we possibly can to help all of our struggling businesses and nonprofits through this coronavirus pandemic. So please, I just want to express how thankful I am, and wish you all the best and good luck, and let's try to go out there and get some money. Thank you.
Yes, good morning, everyone. This is Casey Elliott with Townsend Public Affairs. As Mayor Candell mentioned, we were lucky enough and fortunate enough to be able to work with the city as well as the small business community and nonprofit community during the first leg of the business assistance program, and are happy to be back again and helping folks out. Just briefly by a way of background on who we are, so here talking to and talking with Townsend Public Affairs. We were founded in 1998 with a mission to support organizations and improve communities in California and throughout the country. Our bread and butter is working with local public agencies, cities, counties, special districts, schools, as well as nonprofit organizations. So the city of Lafayette, the business community, the nonprofit community, that is our passion. That is what we work to do. In addition to the small business program, we also conduct advocacy services in both Sacramento and Washington, D.C. So we are on the ground working with lawmakers in California and Washington, D.C. on getting these programs up and running and out. And to date, we've been very successful in working with our clients to access nearly $2 billion worth of public sector funding. And as Mayor Candell said, hopefully through the program, we'll continue to be able to access more of that funding directly for the businesses and nonprofits in Lafayette. Johan, if you want to move over to the next slide. Just so give you guys kind of a picture, some faces to go with the names of who you'll be seeing. Again, my name is Casey Elliott. I'm State Capital Director at Townsend Public Affairs. Work directly with the City of Lafayette on a number of issues, and we'll be running point on our business assistance program. Also with me is Johan Reinders. Many of you may have had the opportunity to work with Johan in the first round of the business assistance program, and he is back, and he is here to help you navigate all of the various programs. And maybe with that, Johan, I'll let you do a little introduction of yourself as well.
Yeah, thanks very much, Casey. So my name is Johan Reinders. I'm located in the Central California office in Fresno. I'm extremely passionate about this project. It's not only helping Lafayette small businesses recover from the pandemic, but also be resilient to the pandemic as we go into 2021. I know a lot of you have worked with us in the 2020 year with this program, are painfully familiar with my voice and painfully familiar with my email signature. So hopefully we'll be able to help as many of you as possible, get as much funding as possible. My role specifically with the business assistance program, or the BAP as we call it, is to be the primary liaison between us at the program and you as the Lafayette small business community. But you'll see it as you've seen, this program is made possible by a phenomenal team made up of our firm at TPA and your very own city staff. And I'll go on to the next slide in a moment and pass it back to Casey Elliott.
Yeah, so in addition to Johan and I, we do have a team of folks working on behalf of the city. Just a couple of folks wanted to highlight, just to kind of give you a flavor of who we have. Alex Gibbs works within our grant unit in the city of Sacramento. Definitely serves as a liaison with many of the funding agencies at the state level. So we can have direct assistance, direct connection, hopefully get some of your questions answered, as it relates to state level programs. Laura Kroger is on the ground in our DC office, working very closely with the Treasury, the Small Business Office, members of Congress, again, to really kind of help formulate and then digest and make these programs easier for everyone to access, for businesses and nonprofits to access. So while you may not necessarily directly interface with them, we do have folks on the ground that are dealing with these programs on a daily basis. So obviously, as questions arise, please let us know. We have our folks on the ground that we can then be dialing directly in with all of these agencies. And in addition to our staff, as was mentioned, city staff is also key to making this program work. So perhaps on the next slide, Johan will let the city introduce their staff.
Good morning, everyone. This is Nirup Srivatsa. I'm the Lafayette City Manager, and welcome. The city is really delighted, as Mayor Candell said, to be able to restart the business assistance program. And Johan with Townsend will be the person who will help you through the process, but there is an initial check-in that you need to do with the city to ensure that you are a Lafayette business or a Lafayette nonprofit. And so your initial contact will be Stephanie Warford and Jonathan Katayanagi, who will serve as the backup. We are your city core team. We're here to help you and to make sure that we can do the best we can to get you as much funding as possible from the various funding sources. So I just wanted to make sure you knew, put a face to the name, and this is your City of Lafayette team. I'm going to hand it back to Johan.
Thank you so much, Nirup. So now that we've talked about ourselves long enough, let's start talking about what we can do for you and for your businesses and nonprofits. We're going to give a brief overview here of how new businesses and nonprofits can register for the BAP to receive assistance, and what both old and new businesses and nonprofits will be able to receive from us as we help you through this. And then just to reiterate, as we kind of hit this halfway point, feel free to type in questions in the questions function of this webinar platform, and then feel free to do that throughout this presentation. And then at the end, we'll have some Q&A and answer as many of those as possible. And there'll also be some time to type in those questions at the Q&A portion at the end. But just moving on to the next slide. So who is eligible for those of you who have worked with us in 2020? You are already on our serve list, and so you may have already received some announcements from us to date, and those will keep coming. Please reach out to us if you're not receiving those either by spam or by technical error. But for new businesses new businesses and nonprofits who have not yet signed up with us, we just want to reiterate who is eligible, and that is anyone who is a small business, who is that includes self-employed or 1099 workers, and also nonprofits. And that's all types of nonprofits, 501c3, 501c6, and all in between. We will do our best to assist you in any way that we can. And then the next item is to make sure that you have fewer than 500 employees, just to keep it within the realm of small business. And the final criteria is that you be located within the city of Lafayette itself. And the city team, through the registration process, will be screening that, making sure people are not from Lafayette, Kentucky by accident and things like that. And then moving on to the next slide. So to get started, you should visit the Lafayette Business Assistance Program website at this URL here, and there'll be a link there on the website to submit a Lafayette-based business verification form, and it'll fill out some information, just verifying that you are considered a small business by the city and that you're within the city limits. Also, it gives us at the BAP some important information about what your needs are, and how we can best help you. We can start getting you in touch with the right programs. And then once you are verified as being Lafayette based, our staff will reach out to you, and first we will pass on as much of the initial information that we have and the guidance that we have to get you started, as well as schedule some time to reach out to you and find out exactly what your business needs are. So what we're able to offer, and this is both for the new people signing up as well as the old people from 2020 as we get you ready for the 2021 programs. We're gonna identify your organization's needs. So we'll work with you, your business or your nonprofit, to find out exactly what it is your biggest needs are, whether that's rent or payroll. Often it's both, often it's everything. And then and we'll try to put you in touch with the best programs, the best funding programs that are available, that are also competitive for you, to not spend your time chasing little $500 grants, but to spend your time chasing large funding opportunities such as the Paycheck Protection Program and large $5,000 grants on the national level. Then we're also going to provide step-by-step instructions. Some of you have already been receiving that guidance for the 2021 programs, where we take the very complicated application process of the federal and state programs, and we break them down into much more digestible items for yourself. Those of you who are mom and pop shops who do not have a full legal team or a full accounting team to apply for grants for you, we try to break it down into something that you can handle. Usually we try to break it down into something you can apply for in an hour or less if possible. And then finally, we will be assisting with agency issues. So for all these new programs, if you start running into technical issues or if you start running into eligibility issues, we're going to work with you to try and navigate the complicated guidance and rules on the private and the state and the federal level. And also for the past programs, if you have received the Paycheck Protection Program already, I know it's a big concern is the forgiveness process, and both for the people that we've assisted in 2020 and also for new participants who did receive PPP last year. We're here to help you through that forgiveness process. There's a lot of information that we have, and there's a lot of information that is coming. We're going to keep you updated on how to navigate programs like the PPP and others after you submit and as you're trying to get funding. Moving on from that, just to give us a brief timeline of where we are so far. Coming up on a year now, on January 5th, 2020 was the first confirmed COVID case in the state of California. A few months later, March 27, the first CARES Act was signed into law, providing $2.2 trillion in relief, and a large portion of that was allocated to the Paycheck Protection Program, which is one of the largest relief funds for small businesses. April 3rd is when PPP opened. April 27th is when they replenished PPP with the phase, what they call 2.5. And then on August 8th, the PPP round 1 officially closed. So for the past 6 months, small businesses have not been able to apply for that, and there was still 140 billion remaining that small businesses had not been able to access. As of just last year, on December 27, the 2021 COVID bus omnibus relief bill was signed into law. It was a $900 billion package with 325 billion all dedicated to various small business assistance programs. And so that's where we are now, as the Small Business Administration has received their directives from the relief bill to create new programs and to create new guidance for those programs. So now that we are here in the year 2021, I want to run briefly through a couple of the major programs that are available. There's a multitude of programs that you will be eligible for, and there's a multitude of programs that will be worth your time to apply for aggressively. These are going to be the top that are most applicable to almost all small businesses looking for assistance. The first one, many of you have heard of it, and this is the one that is the highest priority because of its timeline. This is going to be the California's Governor's Office of Small Business Assistance, the California Relief Grant. And that is a grant funding ranging from $5,000 to $25,000, targeting small businesses and nonprofits throughout the states. And there's going to be a priority focus on businesses severely impacted by the pandemic shutdown and industries severely impacted by the pandemic shutdown, such as personal care, like hair salons, and as well as food service. Certain industries like that who have been unable to operate properly during the shutdown. And this grant, I absolutely recommend almost all small businesses apply for. All businesses within the county of Contra Costa will have some amount of priority points given to them because Contra Costa is currently in the purple zone, as it's designated as widespread COVID status. So all Lafayette businesses will receive some priority points off the bat. The next program that you're all very familiar with is the Small Business Administration Paycheck Protection Program Round 2, or what they're calling PPP2. As of last night, the SBA did release preliminary guidelines on how PPP2 will work. That said, we are still waiting for bank lenders, and fintech companies to begin accepting applications. We anticipate that will start happening in the next couple of weeks, but we definitely want to get Lafayette businesses ahead of the ball as possible. As just like last year, there's going to be a torrent of small business nationwide applying for PPP and jockeying to get the money. So over the next 7 days, we're going to get you as ready as possible for this, even though the applications are not yet open. And also looking at that timeline for PPP2, the current deadline as dictated by the relief bill is March 31st, 2021. As many of you are familiar with, this guidance can change week to week or day to day. It may change, but currently we are anticipating that we'll close on March 31st. And then the final one is going to be, the final top three is going to be the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance. Many of you have already been working with this before. This assists unemployed Californians not usually eligible for regular unemployment. And that's one thing that we're very passionate about. A lot of times, sole proprietors or mom and pop shops, real true small businesses in the community will say, well, this doesn't apply to me. I'm not a quote unquote real business. I have no funding open to me. We are here to say you absolutely do. All three of these top three applications are eligible to sole proprietors and 1099 workers and self-employed individuals. So there is definitely help out there for you. Pandemic unemployment assistance is very useful to business owners who do not have a normal payroll. So a lot of times when there's no money, there's just no money. And so the pandemic unemployment assistance is a very good way for you to receive interim support for business owners, self-employed workers, independent contractors, as well as anyone who is currently out of business as a direct result of the pandemic. And the PUA, the pandemic unemployment assistance, is currently ongoing and available for applications if you're not already receiving it today. That's just the top three. There is a multitude of more applications, both on the local, the private foundation, the state, and the federal level. And we're going to try and keep your time as efficient as possible, shooting at grants that are competitive for your type of business, specifically as we assess your needs, and also grants that are large, not $200, but in the thousands if possible to keep your business sustainable. With that is my long-winded breakdown of the 2021 opportunities and what we're going to be doing for the small businesses of Lafayette in the year 2021. So thank you all for bearing with me. I'm going to open it up to the questions as of now. So feel free to type in some questions. We're going to be here for about 30 minutes answering questions or until questions run out. So we're here to answer any questions you may have. Feel free to type them in. Here we go. So I'm going to start at the top. Here we go. Question: I signed up for the COVID relief grant, but have not gotten a sign-in code or password. How do I get them? They just emailed me and said they would give me a password. I still need the sign-in code. So going back real quickly to the California relief grant, I know that a lot of you have had a lot of frustration with the website itself. The website is constantly crashing. For the last week, they have been shutting it down from midnight to 4 a.m. So you may have gotten a blank screen every time you try to apply in the early hours of the morning. The website received an unprecedented amount of applicants, and they immediately had to shut down the website to add more servers to allow more California businesses to apply. If you receive that confirmation email that they are sending you your username and password, that they did receive your initial application, you are good. You are where you need to be. Please be patient. Check your spam email and check your email constantly. Typically within about 24 to 48 hours, they will send you your username and password. For the last week, they have not allowed you to upload your required documents, such as your driver's license and your tax returns. So that as of today, as of the 6th, they are going to reopen it and start allowing you to log in and upload those documents. And while the initial deadline was this Friday, the 8th, in light of how many applications they've had, they are sending it to next Wednesday, the 13th. So if you have not already applied, we certainly recommend applying for this, and we have more information that we're going to pass out to you on how to apply. Next question we have. We need help dealing with the SBA. I have a regular loan that is due to pay in June 2021. However, SBA is requesting payment of $250 a month. The bills I receive from them do not reflect my payments. So for that question, Maria, I'm going to work with you offline. That's a question more specific to your business needs. I will be working with you offline on that to figure out the problem with that. Moving down to the next question. If we have a property in Lafayette that is soon to be developed, but our main buildings are in Walnut Creek for the time being, are we eligible? I would actually like to pass that to Narup and the city staff, if you're able to comment on that.
Could you repeat that question, please?
Yes, absolutely. The question is, if we have a property in Lafayette that is soon to be developed, but our main buildings are in Walnut Creek for the time being, are we still eligible for the BAP? This may be something specific that we want to contact with
Yeah,
them offline.
I want to know a little more about when this business in Lafayette will open. And so if the person who submitted the question can give me his or her email address, I'll get back to them.
Absolutely. So we'll be contacting you offline with that specific question.
And this is Jonathan working with Stephanie on the verifications. When you go to the site to fill out the verification form, there's an area to give us details about how your business will relate to Lafayette, and we'll follow up to get more information as part of that process. So if you have any hesitation about applying for the program, go ahead and go to the city website, fill out the form, give us as much detail in that explanation section, and we're happy to review it and work with you.
Thank you, Jonathan. For our next question, is the user states, this may be premature, but do you interface with lenders as well? And if I understand your question, do we interface with the lenders that you work with on the PPP? So we are not able to apply for any of these grants for you. A lot of these grants will always require proprietary information, sometimes your social security number. So for your just for your privacy, most of the time we will not directly apply, but we are able to give you any assistance that we can. We are able to get information from funding agencies, and we're able to do the research and give you the best guidance to apply. So we're able to interface in that way, but we're not able to apply for these programs for you. And question, what happened to the 140 billion not located last August? In relation to the PPP, that was held by the SBA. We are still waiting for guidance on whether that is going to be clawed back into other programs or if it's going to remain as part of the PPP plot, PPP pot. Either way, there is still over 300 billion available. There's a little bit more than there was the first time around. We do anticipate there's a good pot of funding, but we certainly want to get you ready as quickly as possible so that Lafayette can be one of the first communities to apply once it opens. Okay, this is a very good question. What if my business was started in August 2019? Do I still qualify for anything? That's a perfect question. It will depend on different programs. In most cases, the program will want you to have been open for at least 1 year, or at least open before the start of the pandemic. What they qualify as February 2020, when the pandemic first started to hit the United States. So with August 19, I do believe you will be eligible for some programs, but during our business needs assessment with you, the person asking the question, we will be able to work with you and give you an assessment of exactly which ones. There are some that you will be unfortunately ineligible for because they may deem you as not existing a year before the pandemic. But we'll work with you directly to figure out which ones you are eligible for. But just to everyone listening, most applications are going to look for 1 year before the pandemic, 1 year of existence. So for oh, here's a good question. Can PPP2, California grants, and pandemic unemployment assistance be combined? That's a very good question. We're here to make sure you get as much funding as possible. So I mean, it depends on the individual, whether you mean can the business owner receive all of these or can an employee be paid all of these. That will vary depending on who you're talking about. But we certainly encourage you to apply for all of them. Certainly, the California grant is separate. It is a grant from the state of California, so it will not conflict with any program. For the PPP2 and for the pandemic unemployment assistance, that one it will depend case by case. So we'll be able to work with you to make sure whether you're allowed to receive both or whether you should apply for both, but prioritize one when you receive it. But we certainly encourage you to apply for all three. The worst you can do if you are not in compliance is to not accept one of them. But we want to cast it as wide a net for you as possible. Okay, so here's a question: does PUA apply to business owners who are working but not at the same capacity as 2020? That's a perfect question. The Pandemic Unemployment Assistance Program administered by the state of California does allow for full unemployment and also quote unquote partial unemployment. So if you are able to work, but if you are only working at half capacity or almost not at all, or even just a little bit lower than normal, I believe the threshold is in the realm of 30% or lower, 25% or lower. You are eligible to apply. So if you are not working full capacity, we definitely encourage you to apply for PUA, Pandemic Unemployment Assistance. Here's a question. It is my understanding that a business should not apply for the second round of PPP unless the funds are required to keep the business afloat / keep them from closing. Is that the right way to think about PPP round 2? It is, however, I don't think it's a stretch to say that that all businesses have been impacted by COVID-19. So we certainly encourage you to apply if you have suffered economically during this pandemic. For those of you who have not applied for PPP before, we certainly encourage you to apply for PPP now to receive 2.5 months worth of payroll to support your business. If you did apply and received round 1, you are likely eligible for round 2. The two biggest changes they have made to weed out the larger companies from eating up all of the funds is, number 1, they've PPP 2, you must have 300 employees or less as opposed to 500 to get that second draw. And then the other major criteria is you must demonstrate that you have had an economic impact due to COVID-19, and what they're going to ask for proof of one of your quarterly revenue reports from 2019, and compare that to a quarterly revenue of the same quarterly revenue report from 2020. So your spring quarter report in 2019 was high, and then of course your spring quarter report from 2020 was low. And if it's 25% or lower, 25% lower or more, then you are eligible to get that second draw. Here's a question: if you have restarted your business but cannot pay yourself, can you get unemployment? So yes, for business owners who normally just draw their salary and don't have a normal payroll, that the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance Program is designed for you. It's designed to give you assistance when you normally wouldn't have access to unemployment. Question: if I apply for the Cal OSBA, the California Relief Grant, will I still be eligible for PUA? Absolutely. The California Relief Grant is a separate entity. It is not considered unemployment or the quote unquote burden to the state. It is a grant to small businesses, and you can absolutely apply for that. So question: I'm new to LBA. With the Cal OSBA California Relief Grant deadline being 1 week away, will I be able to get assistance from you in time? Yes, absolutely. I will meet with you offline. That we already have a full step-by-step guide to make the process as painless as possible for you. So I will be reaching out to you offline to get you that information. And for all of you just signing on or have signed on in the last 24 to 48 hours, there will be a second email blast giving information on how on that step-by-step application. So yes, you certainly have enough time, and we're gonna help you as much as possible. Next question: I volunteer with a Walnut Creek nonprofit. Our main source of income is from a thrift shop in Lafayette. Are we eligible for you to help? Yes, absolutely. For this. Oh, I see. Oh, actually, I see. I volunteer for the Walnut Creek nonprofit. Our main source of income is from a thrift shop in Lafayette. Are we eligible for you to help? That is one that we will work offline with you to see if you are eligible to receive Lafayette assistance. I do recommend that you apply through the business verification form, and then the city staff team will be able to verify whether we'll be able to work with you and see if we're able to assist you. What if you're self-employed with no employees at all? You are eligible for assistance. You are eligible for the California Relief Grant due this next Wednesday, the 13th. You are eligible for that. you are eligible for the PPP2, the Paycheck Protection Program. You are eligible for that, and you are also eligible as a business owner, as a self-employed individual. You are eligible for pandemic unemployment assistance. Those top 3 programs that we list, you're eligible for all of them, and there are more that you are eligible for, because a self-employed person does qualify as a small business in the context of these relief programs. Okay, question. Hello, I bought a business that has been operating for 30 years. You bought it in June 2020. Would I be able to apply for the California Relief Grant Program? So for those of you where it may be a gray area of whether or not your quote unquote business is a year old or more, that can depend on how the company was transferred, and if the company was reincorporated or reestablished in some way. We certainly encourage you to apply, and where possible, for the California, where possible, to show that your company has existed for 30 years. In the case of the California Relief Grant, you'll want to upload the documents that prove the business incorporation. You'll want to upload a document that shows that it is 30 years old, or that it is more than 1 year old. So that I believe you'll be eligible for, but you'll want to show as much documentation as possible. Okay, so how does all this work when we there's a question, how does all this work when we haven't filed tax returns for 2020 yet? So for this question, I totally understand. You are in the middle, the year of 2020 has just ended, so you're in the middle of putting together your taxes. Most of these applications will actually ask for your 2019 tax records, because they're going to be looking at what your normal income was pre-disaster, pre-pandemic. When you need to compare it to 2020, they are looking for your best good faith estimates. So that may be your quarterly reports that are reported, or maybe your quarterly reports that are not yet completed or filed. But they're just looking for a good faith providence of proof of what your 2020 tax returns are, or what your 2020 financial records are. But as far as what is actually filed, officially filed, they understand that that's probably going to be 2019. In some cases, even as far back as 2018. Any specific advice for nonprofits? I can answer that briefly. That'll vary case by case. We do understand that some of the different nonprofits, such as 501c9s, or ones that are not 501c3s or 501c6s, we understand that in some cases applications will leave them out in the cold. They will not be eligible. We're going to work with you as much as possible to identify what you are eligible for. For the PPP, we have confirmed that 501c3s and 501c6s are eligible for assistance. We're working to confirm what other variations of nonprofits are eligible for the Paycheck Protection Program. But outside of that, we are still going to work with you and assess as many options that you have as possible to apply for funding. Next question. Will PPP2 require proof of forgiveness from PPP1? I used all the funds up, but have not applied for forgiveness. So a brief question for all of you who have received PPP1 funds and you've used them faithfully. You've used at least 60% for payroll, and you've hired your employees back in good faith when you're able to. Your forgiveness process, as you may have noticed, may not be accepted by the bank yet. Banks banks and lenders are sitting on their hands at the moment and not even allowing many people to apply for forgiveness. This is because they are currently hoping that Congress will give even looser requirements for forgiveness. They'll make it even more streamlined to be forgiven. So they're not moving on them in the hopes that Congress will do that. I know that's frustrating for many of you who want to put this behind you and not have a growing interest loan hanging over your head. However, the current guidance does state that you have 10 months to apply for forgiveness. So you will not be asked for a payment. This loan will not be counting against you for 10 months. For most of you, depending on when you received the PPP, the first PPP round, that will be August of this year. Varying out July, August, September, depending on when you received the assistance. So you do have time. Our DC team is monitoring the situation as Congress makes more and more suggestions on how to streamline the loan forgiveness process. Most recently, they have given an even more streamlined process for anyone who received a PPP loan of under $50,000. So there's a very streamlined process currently available for that. But we hope, and the banks are anticipating, that there'll be an even more streamlined process. So please hold out for that. For PPP2, the only thing that they say for PPP1 is that you have spent it, or that you are committed to spending it in good faith. So for PPP2, you do not need proof of forgiveness, because most likely you have not yet received forgiveness from your lender yet. So here's a question. I have an SBA loan and would like to get another. So depending on the SBA loan you receive, that may be possible. For the COVID-19 pandemic, there was the Economic Injury Disaster Loan, the EIDL. The EIDL loan was up to $150,000 at a low interest rate. That loan, you are not able to expand on what is called the SBA bridge loan. If you have any other type of SBA loan, you may be eligible for the bridge loan, which is an expansion on your existing SBA loan of $25,000. For the EIDL, currently the guidance is that you cannot get more. However, with SBA processing the new COVID relief bill, we are monitoring to see if you could get a second EIDL loan. Our current guidance is no, but we are hoping for more information and turning that into a yes. When will PPP forgiveness begin? We're currently monitoring the situation on that, but like as I said before, currently banks are sitting on their hands and not allowing you to apply for forgiveness. As soon as we hear word, that is going to be one of the big announcements that we send out to all BAP, Business Assistance Program participants. I'm new to the. Here's a question. I'm new to the BAP, though I have a PPP and PUA. What's the best place to start with the California Relief Grant and other support offered by the city? Should I fill out an application on the lovelafayette.org website? Yes, that is the first step, as we've said, and we will get in touch with you and start giving you guidance on how to apply. The first thing that we'll do with the California Relief Grant deadline this Wednesday is send you a step-by-step instruction, a digestible guide on how to apply for the California Relief Grant. So definitely fill out that application on the Lafayette website. Question. A question. I missed the first 15 minutes of your lecture because your audio was not working. I apologize for that. We will be posting this entire webinar online, including this long-winded Q&A portion that I'm giving right now. You will be able to access a video version of this webinar. So I have here's a question. I have a PPP loan through Wells Fargo Bank, and they were extremely slow processing. Should I stay with Wells Fargo Bank? And does the first PPP have to be closed out before applying for the second one? Let me first answer that last question. Does the first PPP have to be closed out before applying for the second one? They are the SBA is asking that for you to apply for a second. If you've received the last one, and you're applying for a second one. They ask that you have either spent it on your employees, you spent it on the eligible costs, or that you are planning to spend it depending on the timeline when you received it. So that will be required to receive the first one, to receive the second one. And then your question with Wells Fargo Bank being slow in processing, and should you stay with them? So as many of you may have experienced a frustration last year, large lenders such as Wells Fargo, Bank of America, were very slow as they were inundated with applications. So because of the huge applications with those larger chain franchise banks, it was very slow to apply. And some even missed the first pot of funding before the second pot of funding came through. There is an alternative, which the SBA terms fintech companies or financial technology companies, such as those include PayPal, Intuit, QuickBooks, Square, Cabbage, just to name a few. Once the once the PPP2 application goes live with banks and with lenders, we will be able to provide you a list of these fintech companies that are currently accepting applications. If you have already received a PPP through Wells Fargo Bank, stand by for when the application applies. Wells Fargo may have a fast track for you, but if they do not, you can consider going either to another bank, to a smaller local credit union, or to these fintech companies that we will be providing more information for. We received very good responses from BAP participants from these fintech companies such as PayPal, such as Cabbage, and etc. So we'll provide you more information on that once these applications go live at the banks and lenders. Question here, first timer here, hair salon owner. At this point, I do need all kinds of help like many others. Yes, so for the hair salon owner, please sign up for this the business verification form on the Lafayette website, and we will get in touch with you. The first and foremost, we would recommend you apply for the California Relief Grant, which is prioritizing hair salons as a heavily impacted business. So we'll get you more information on how to apply by that Wednesday deadline. I have next question. I received a PPP loan on the first round of as an independent contractor. I haven't received any word for forgiveness from the lender yet. So I totally understand. Again, as we stated, that will be coming as lenders either receive more streamlined forgiveness from Congress, or they just start applying them. We will notify you once forgiveness forms are available to you. I was seeing a couple questions regarding issues with the California Relief Grant login or password. Some of you are having issues either receiving a login and password, or some of you have just received a password but not a login ID. If you are having, if you are waiting for your username and password after submitting the first stage of the California Relief Grant, please give it about 24 to 48 hours. And please check your spam regularly and your regular email to see if they send you that login information. If you don't receive it over after 48 hours, definitely reach out to us. We may be able to troubleshoot the problem, and we'll also be able to get you in touch with the Lendistry website's tech support team with their phone number. For the question, the California Relief Grant emailed me and sent me a password, but did not send me a user ID. Please reach out to us. We'll see if we can troubleshoot that. You should have received both a username and a password. Okay, question again for California Relief Grant. The California Relief Grant's requirement of a tax return, are they referring to my business tax return or my personal income tax return? So for that, you are applying as a small business. When you apply for the California Relief Grant, you will want to use whatever tax return your business files. So if you are an LLC, that is going to be whatever form that your business files. If you are self-employed or a 1099 worker or a sole proprietor, you will use whatever you use to file for your business. That may be your personal forms, but it's whatever you would consider your business. That's what the grant will look for as a tax return. Question: How do I make an appointment with you so that I can start the application process for PPP2? For those of you who are new to participating in this BAP, please fill out the business verification form, and then once the city staff verifies you, we will be reaching out to you to make appointments to identify what your biggest business needs are and what programs will help you. For those of you who are already signed on, who participated in 2020, we have already been sending out announcements, and we will be in touch with you to find your exact needs. If you have any specific questions, please feel free to email us, and we'll get in touch with you as quickly as possible. The question: If I'm not a Lafayette business, can I still receive advice from PPP the California grant? Unfortunately, we're reserving this for the people, the businesses, the small business community of the city of Lafayette. If you go to the website, you are able to see general information on where you can find assistance, both from local chambers of commerce and from the small business administration website themselves. but currently this is reserved for the people of the small business community of Lafayette. Here we go. Next question, can the California COVID relief grant funds be used to fund programs for our nonprofit? So in the guidelines in the nonprofit guidelines for the California relief grant, they specify that this is designed to address it's basically supposed to be emergency funds. It's required funds to keep your business or to keep your non-business afloat, whether that is rent, whether that is utilities, whether that is a payroll, whether that is adjusting to the required state and local ordinances on social distancing. So the funds can be used to adjust your business or your nonprofit to COVID-19, but they are asking that it be related to either staying in business or adjusting to COVID-19. So we'll be able to discuss with you offline whether you can fund a program, but based on our reading, it should be focused more on emergency funds. Question: If I work fairly long-term projects and get paid at the end, am I eligible for pandemic unemployment assistance in the meantime? For example, before this person gets paid, they are working for 3 months on a project. So for something like that, where you are paid, for those of you that are self-employed or 1099 workers, if you are paid irregularly, we certainly encourage that you apply for pandemic unemployment assistance. You will need all you'll need to do is you'll need to demonstrate in good faith with the California EDD that you are unemployed, and that you are partially unemployed, that while you're receiving work, that you're not working at full capacity due to the pandemic, and then the EDD will make a determination whether you are eligible for unemployment. But we certainly encourage you to apply, and we'll be able to assist you to make you as competitive as possible in that application. A question says, I could not get unemployment or PPP or anything else, please help. We totally understand the frustration in that and being turned away, either because of a lack of apparent eligibility or because of the complicated application process. Definitely reach out to us, the person that asked that question, and we'll be able to put you in touch either with those programs navigating their complicated process, or by putting you in touch with other programs. Such as more local and private foundational grants. But if you are a 1099 worker or self-employed, you should be eligible for both of those. So we'll be able to work offline with you on how we can best help you. Here's a good question regarding Paycheck Protection Program. For PPP2, I understand the quarterly revenue report can be for any quarter. Can I choose the quarter that is best for me? Yes, you can. That's a very good question. They're going to ask for a comparison of a 2019 quarter and a 2020 quarter. You have full reign to choose the one that you think is best for you, the one that demonstrates your highest need. We're going to go for another 5 minutes. Please forgive me if I do not get to all of your questions, but feel free to fill out the business verification form for new participants. And we'll be able to contact you. And for old participants, please reach out to us any questions you may have. But I'm going to keep answering these for about 5 more minutes. I know of a couple that purchased an existing Lafayette business during 2020. Are they eligible for any of these programs, or must you be a longer-term owner of a business? So in terms of getting access to our assistance at the BAP, please fill out a business verification form, and the city staff will be able to work with you and determine if you are eligible. Again, if you're talking in context to applying for different programs, if you've recently changed ownership, that will depend on whether or not you had to be reincorporated, and if the state of California and if the United States IRS considers you only a year old, or if you're considered 30 years old, and we'll be able to work with you on how to best demonstrate that you are older than 1 year. Next question, I can see looking at the California Relief Grant doc requirements that I don't have the documents they're requesting. Are there options? So depending on which ones you're looking for, if you're looking for certain tax returns that you don't have, if you don't have them filed, it may still be possible to apply a good faith draft of your 2019 tax records, or you can go back as far as 2018. If you do not have that, please reach out to us and we'll see if we can assist you as best we can. But they are going to require all the documents requested in some format for you to be eligible. Will you be able to help with the PPP forgiveness applications? I've been advised to wait it out because laws keep changing. So they have not yet. So I have not yet filed for forgiveness. So once again, yes, that's something that we're going to be able to help with. I know that banks have both not allowed you to apply for forgiveness as well as advise you to hold out for it. We'll be getting you in touch with the most recent guidance of the streamlined application for those of you who received under 50,000. And we will also keep you updated for any changes that come out of the SBA on the forgiveness process. I think this question has a couple typos. I don't have 2019. Can I get help? If you're referring to you do not have 2019 tax returns to apply for the California Relief Grant, the guidance does say you can go back as far as 2018 tax returns and use those to upload documents. So if you have those, you can still apply for the California Relief Grant. This question, how do self-employed sole proprietors complete the section requiring a business license when a business license is not required in our city? We've been in business for 20 years in Lafayette. That is a fantastic question and one that has been addressed by the city of Lafayette. And we will get you in touch with the correct document. The city of Lafayette has provided a public document saying that the city does not require a business license. So it's a document signed by city manager Narup, just certifying that is not required. And then if any application is asking for a business license, you can deliver that letter, that public letter provided by the city. So we'll certainly get you in touch with that so that you can apply to different applications. Okay, a very good question that I know a lot of you have dealt with last year and you're looking for this year. So the previously asked question about self-employed being eligible for both PPP and pandemic unemployment, is that an either or situation? Can you apply for PPP and pandemic unemployment assistance at the same time? That will vary case by case. For an employee who works at a business, and they are currently out of work, you can certainly apply for pandemic unemployment assistance. But to use the two together, you need to make sure that you are not conflicting them together. You're not drawing from both. As if you're receiving PPP funds, then you are rehired and you're no longer eligible for unemployment for that time. So we'll be able to work with you and to make sure that you're staying in compliance with PPP and unemployment, and we'll be able to give you information you can pass on to your employees and make sure that they are staying in compliance. They do not get in trouble with unemployment or the PPP. And then I'll take one more question. I'll take a couple more questions. I started to fill out the California Relief Grant application, but there is an exclusion. If I filed, there's an exclusion of Schedule E, I'm not eligible. We deeply apologize if the California Relief Grant does exclude you. Please reach out to us and we'll see either if we can find a way for you to be eligible for that grant. If not, there are other applications. There is the PPP that you may be eligible for, and there is the pandemic unemployment, as well as other grants that are going to be provided by the state and by other local foundations.
This is Jonathan with the city staff.
Yeah.
I'm already starting to get a lot of calls. We're so happy that we have a lot of businesses very excited to participate in the program. I just want to reiterate, the first step to getting your questions answered is filling out that business verification form. As previously stated here, if you go to our website, lovelafayette.org, and fill out that business verification form, we'll start the process, and then we'll reach out to you and we can start that process.
Thank you so much, Jonathan. With that, we will end this hour-long webinar. Thank you all so much for bearing with us. Thank you all for participating in this and keeping Lafayette strong. as we go into the year 2021. But yes, I'm putting this back on the screen. Please visit the Lafayette Business Assistance Program website at this URL. And if you Google Lafayette Business Assistance, it does come up quite quickly via Google. So please enter this website, which gives you a little bit more information, and please click the hyperlink within that website that takes you to the Lafayette-based business verification form. And once you fill out that form, and city staff verifies that you are a Lafayette-based small business, they will get you in touch with us, and we will be able to provide you. First, we'll provide you a tsunami of information of the grants you can apply for immediately, and then we can work with you individually and find out what your specific needs are. So with that, I want to say thank you to everyone. This webinar will be posted for your perusal. If there's any of the panelists online, if anyone would like to say anything, otherwise we'll say good night, or we'll say good day.
I do want to say some things, Mayor Kandel. Oh, Johannes, your depth of knowledge and attitude is why we are so successful. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for helping everybody in our city. Thank you so much. That
is exactly what we're here for. Thank you for making this possible. Thank all of you small businesses for participating. And without further ado, we will say good day. Thank you all very much, and we look forward to giving you as much assistance as possible. Thanks for being here.